And we are live, Facebook community here at Rythmia Facebook Studios in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. Sunny and now a little bit rainy. Not right at this moment, but we finally started the rainy season. And welcome everyone. One person, welcome the one person. We're just getting started here. Three people. And if you join on, let me know. Oh yeah, with some hearts there, great. Some likes, some types in the chat bar that tells me who you are and where you're coming from so I can greet you properly. Debbie Garcia, all right, Debbie. Be seeing you soon. Tina, hi Tina, all the way from Finland. Are you coming from Finland, Tina? This must be, what time would it be there? Probably 9 o'clock at night or something like that. Whoops, dog's trying to get in. We got the Facebook Live Studios is a little bit more rustic than your normal studio. Could you shut that door fully, please? So we got Tiffany, we got Julia, we've got Michael, we got Amy from Missouri, Tim, Lauren, excellent. So just kind of getting started here. Just hey, Christian Tim from Sacramento, see you June 3rd. Excellent, Tim. So if anybody's coming here too, put that in your chat bar. We'll welcome you. Jason, I know from Colorado because he's been here. So, and of course, Tina from Finland has been here before. So we got a good mix of people who've been here, people who haven't. This is, we're in Costa Rica. As I was mentioning, we're kind of in the, just beginning the rainy season here. And the rainy season means it's rained about, I don't know, four times since the beginning of May. We're looking forward to it. I actually like that a lot. It sort of brings the temperature down a little bit, makes things a little more lush and green. Julie, in October you're coming. All right, that's good to hear. And Raquel from Arcadia, California, is that right, in the LA, greater LA region, I believe. Hey Jason, hey Andrew from Australia. Oh my goodness, we got you guys from all over. Hope you're having a day full of gratitude moments. I hope so too. I'm feeling thankful. You know, what are we up to? 20 people. We're still trying to get. Usually start off officially once we get to about 50. So 35 now. The people are starting to come on. Good. Arcadia is fabulous. Near Pasadena, that's right. I've been there. And there are gardens there in that area. I seem to recall going to once. Chicago is represented. Raquel. Oh, in Northern California, 1 hour to Oregon. So that part. All right, great. Coming in a week. Where's my glasses? Don't want to get people's names right. Danigel or Danielle probably would be my guess, huh? Jennifer Sedini, hey there. Christina from Slovenia. Mirka from Finland. Wonderful. Shelly Albers, good old friend. Probably known her longer than I know most people here. So glad to see her on. Hey, Shelly. Janine from Texas. Arthur from Vancouver. Hey, Arthur. Asen. Hey, Asen from London. Good. Whoa. And we're well past now. 78. Oh, and all right. 88, 92. Now we're cooking with Crisco. So officially welcome everybody. This is Facebook Live Breathwork Edition. I am R. Christian Minson, your host, coming from sunny Guanacaste, Costa Rica, sunny, partly cloudy, let's say. Still warm, still beautiful at Rythmia Life Advancement Center. So as I said, Christian Minson here, director of the Breathwork program, certified transformational breath facilitator, senior trainer with the Transformational Breath Foundation for the last 12 years, former monk, coach, speaker, and contributing author to this orange book, Align, Expand, and Succeed, Shifting the Paradigm of Entrepreneurial Success, Merging Consciousness and Business. And I'm here, I'm here on the wake, I guess you'd say, as we're coming to completion of the very first Breathwork week here at Rythmia ever, a historical moment in Rythmia's trajectory here. We have started 1 week a month as of this month, putting all of the ceremonies into breathwork. And that's that reminds me that the subject today is the purpose, the importance of ceremony. And we'll get into that a bit, but I just wanted to talk a little bit, perhaps brag a little bit about this Breathwork week. It was wonderful. So as I mentioned, the normal Rythmia schedule is 4 plant medicine ceremonies and 3 breathwork ceremonies. So you start off the week usually with a breathwork on Sunday. You go into your plant medicine Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then you end the week with your breathworks on Friday and Saturday. Well, this week, the plant medicine is completely substituted by the breath work. So we had full-on breath work week, really showcasing and highlighting the understanding that breath is as powerful, and in some cases even more powerful, than the plant medicine. And those who have been here and had the experience of both, you know what I'm talking about, and many of you have made that statement, and that's why I say it so often, is because it comes from the people here. The breath work can be as powerful or more powerful of an experience with than the plant medicine. So we did this here this week as an experiment, partly because there's about a quarter of the people who call into Rythmia cannot do plant medicine. They're actually either physically unable, have some kind of physical condition. Perhaps they're on medications and cannot, because the medications are contraindicative to mixing with ayahuasca, then they can't. Or there's just some, reticence, maybe haven't studied it enough or don't feel like it matches your life plan or whatever to do the plant medicine. So this breath work really speaks to these people who call into Rythmia and find that they need an alternative to the plant medicine. We had a very relatively small group here this week. We had 9 people. For those of you who have been to Rythmia recently, you know what a small group that is, right? Because coming up just next, coming tomorrow and the next day will be 82. We'll be maxed out. The week following we'll be at 82, maxed out. And that's pretty much been the trajectory since January of this year. We've been full on, full. We've been full. And so the breathwork week is the best kept secret right now. Get in there while we got this going on, because you have the whole freaking place to yourself, and it's wonderful to be able to enjoy the amenities of Rythmia without tons of people around. It's great with lots of people too, but it's a special experience that will be disappearing after a certain amount of time. Let's see. So the program was great. We still follow the same Rythmia trajectory. We're still about show me who I become, merge me with my soul, heal my heart, heal and repair my heart. And all the classes that we have during the week are the same, with a little bit of a breathwork twist. The program itself is Rythmia. And so you're not going to miss anything on that level. And Jason, I thought 35 was low capacity. Yeah. Well, this is, so this is, you know, to put it in perspective. So we had 9 people this week. When Rythmia first opens its doors back in January 2016, the very first class of Rythmia was, read it, 1, 2. 2 people were here in the very first week of Rythmia. I think the next week might have been 4. And, you know, when I was here back a year and a couple months ago, February and March of 2017, there was one week where we had 8 people, a week when we had 14, a week when we had 20. Those days are quickly leaving us. So again, with breathwork, you're going to get not only a great program, but you're going to get all this space to yourself. So let's get into the topic today, the purpose, the importance of ceremony. And, you know, I was trying to think about this. This is really why talk about this topic, is because ceremony is the cornerstone of the experience here at Rythmia, whether it's plant medicine ceremony, whether it's breathwork ceremony. Ceremony has been part of human culture probably since the dawn of humanity, really, that when we could actually get together as a group, there would be a call for ceremony. Ceremony is a ritual. We've done it for thousands of years. There's many different types of ceremonies if you really get into it and think about it. Marriage, for instance, we have this ceremony of marriage. We have ceremonies when we graduate from something, right? Graduate from high school, graduate from college. You have a ceremony to become a citizen of a country. Say you're, you know, I am half Canadian. For those of you Canadians out there, you know, you got a brother here at Rythmia. For those Americans out here, the other half of me is American. And for all you Palladians out there, that apparently is my original seed incarnation out there in the Pleiades. So to all my Pleiadian brothers and sisters, I greet you. But in all seriousness, when I became a Canadian citizen, there was this little ceremony that you know, it was pretty cut and dried, but a ceremony nonetheless. We have coming of age ceremonies, bar mitzvahs, those kind of things. We have ceremonies to initiate you in a spiritual path. So you can see there are many purposes, or you know, many functions that a ceremony supports. And at Rythmia, our ceremonies revolve around evolution. Basically, they're ceremonies of coming into an awakening. That's what I'd pretty much call them, an awakening ceremony. All right, and we use in the ceremony in this particular case, that we either use plant medicine or we use breath work as the catalyst in this ceremony. You know, if you think about a Catholic mass, could be considered a ceremony. They drink the blood of Christ and eat the wafer, the body of Christ. Well, here we're, you know, drinking the blood of Pachamama, the ayahuasca, and breathing in breath work, the essence of Father Sky. So it is an awakening ceremony that we're performing here at Rythmia. And these are collective dives into our greater consciousness, both our individual consciousness and our collective consciousness. And you know, you could experience plant medicine, you could experience breath work without this ceremonial aspect, but I believe that something gets lost in translation when we do that. That it's, you know, it's half an experience to just have, you know, the catalyst of the experience present, but not to have the ceremonial container, if you will. That's probably the best way to describe the ceremony. A container with which the energies are held. And if you've ever done plant medicine or you've researched it, you may understand how important the container is. The same way with breath work, that the container actually, if there's a well-held container, the energies within that container can really shoot us upward. If that container is loose or leaky or not well held, all sorts of mayhem can result, and sometimes that can really be a downer for the participants. So we hold a very tight container here with the ceremonies that we offer. Ceremonies take us out of everyday consciousness to recognize that something special is going on. This is, to me, one of the essential purposes of the ceremony. Otherwise, life just rolls on from one mundane thing to another. Before I was a monk, I mentioned that I was a monk in my opening words at one point in time. It's now been 12 years. I was a monk for 10 years. Before that time, I remember distinctly how life just seemed to be, you get up in the morning, you eat breakfast, you do, whatever you do, you go to work, you eat lunch, get off work, you go hang out with friends, go drinking, go watching sports, playing sports, go out to the bar, go home, go out with your girlfriend, whatever, go to sleep, next day do it all over again. Life just seemed to be this like perpetual series of mundane events. But when I joined that monastic order and really got in touch with the ceremonial aspect of life, it changed everything for me. It brought me to a new understanding that we could actually bring the essence of ceremony into our everyday life. So let's get into this a little more. The ceremony really affirms the importance of something to the collective, right? Otherwise, it's just like anything else, right? And this is why you could take ayahuasca unceremoniously. You could do breath work, in the corner of your own home. But it's easy to lose the sense of the importance, the sense of gravity that this has for helping you evolve your consciousness and evolve your experience of life itself. As we come together in ceremony, we recognize together a specialness about this occasion, and that's what the ceremony helps us to uphold. Ceremony is a celebration. It's recognizing the importance of accomplishments, right? Like we said, in the case of, say, graduations or promotions or even marriage, right? We're celebrating the attainment of something greater, or the attainment of that union of two souls who are committing to spending their lives together. It's a recognition of the beauty of life. And that old saying, stop and smell the roses, right? Ceremony slows us down a little bit so that we can actually appreciate the beauty and appreciate it together, appreciate it in community. You can, it's easy as an individual to just get, I know myself, when I'm on a mission, I've got something to do, like here, get to my Facebook Live, I just ate lunch, I got to get to Facebook Live. It's like beeline from one activity to another and just go. But it's easy as an individual to get lost in task, living your life from task to task. But to stop and smell the roses isn't always easy. But as we come together in ceremony, we bring ourselves together collectively, and we then take a collective breath, metaphorically, and in the case of breath work, literally. We take that collective breath and slow down, stop to recognize the beauty all around us. And of course, the tools of plant medicine and breath work help enhance our perceptions to really be able to recognize the fine nuances of beauty that exist in this world and in the energetic world beyond this physical. While I'm talking, let's just see. It looks like the chat bar has been a lot of chatting between you guys, which is all great. So no questions or no comments right here, but I definitely give you permission and encourage you to give me some likes and hearts as anything that I say resonates with you. And if anything draws up questions or there's something you disagree with, feel free to start the debate, so to speak. I do not consider myself to be the authority, the ultimate authority on any of the subjects I talk about. Mostly what I'm here to do is stimulate your own thoughts and your own feelings around these kind of things. And if I ultimately inspire you in a way to get you to start searching deeper, then you might actually recognize that Rythmia is a place to take a deep dive. And so everything that I'm talking about here has some place in the environment that we hold here. Hey, from Woodstock, Ontario. Hey, Jeff. And suggestions for pre-Rythmia anxiety. Yeah, I recommend breathing, taking gentle, taking some time. Take a moment, just like that. It's like instead of just blurting out words per minute, taking a moment, taking a breath, and then assessing, how am I feeling? Where am I feeling this anxiety in my body right at the moment? So doing a quick body scan. Usually I feel it in my belly, for instance. You might feel it in your heart. You might feel it in your bones. So recognize where it is, and then do some gentle connected breathing. What I mean by that is it doesn't have to be fast. It doesn't have to be forceful. It doesn't have to be that full. Basically, it just has to be connected in and out in a rhythmic fashion, right? Rhythmic, Rythmia. Getting some sense of connection here. So with this gentle rhythmic connection, it's actually been proven, at least initially, there's scientific evidence. There's a guy on YouTube did a TED Talk on this, and recognizing that it's the rhythm of the breath more than anything that will lower our blood pressure. It will reduce our anxiety levels and our stress levels. So many of the physiological benefits of breathing don't come from deep breaths. They don't come from lots of breaths. They come from rhythmic, connected breaths. All right, it is the rhythm itself, and get this, the one thing that controls the heart or influences the heart is the breath. So this is the one way we have influence over our heart, is to regulate our breathing pattern. And if we breathe in a rhythmic pattern, our heart starts to come into rhythm with us. If we breathe erratically, or we're hyperventilating and all that, the heart gets erratic, and that sends signals to our brain that starts to put us into fight and flight. All those kind of physiological signals that tell us to panic or to be anxious or to be tense and aware. We may have to react to something. Right? So hopefully that answers that. Es un efecto de la clima o porque se le va. Oh, man. Well, that definitely went beyond my level of Spanish. So Noah, if you can ask that in English, I'm happy to try to answer. Tom saying, appreciate the significance of ritual and ceremony at this point in my life. Reading book by Swami Premananda. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. And it is a significant aspect of our life since the dawn of humanity. Conscious breath. I know a big change is coming. Beautiful. Keval. Hey, Keval. Nice to see you there. And good. All right. So I can translate Monica from Utah. Go ahead. Translate if you would like to. How different is a second experience? What does that mean? A second experience of Rythmia? If that's what you mean, I can say that the downloads that Jerry received that brought Rythmia into existence, amongst those, he received the understanding that you can do this process up to 9 times. You can get where my hands, there we go. You can get 9 different versions of your soul merge going on. 3 freedoms, 3 awarenesses, and 3 gifts. One of those being to actually rewrite your DNA, to get into the DNA level of our being and be able to change things on that level. Pretty incredible. So a second experience can be a deeper dive. It can be a dusting off. It can be just a chance to reintegrate with community. But it will always be different, and it will always be beautiful. It will always be something worth something. So please consider coming again, Jessica, if you're planning to. Yeah. All right. So that's what you meant. Good. All right. So back to, where was I? Recognizing beauty, recognizing the extraordinary. Ceremony really helps us to recognize the extraordinary in life. Now, ceremony, why aren't we always in ceremony? Partly, ceremony requires a bit of discipline. Ceremony is a formality in a lot of ways. And as such, it requires us to exhibit a sense of discipline. It requires us to do, just like going to work out every day. You need to have that, that extra oomph. Why go to ceremony versus just stay home and do your breathing? Why go and experience it in a ceremonial aspect? So there's that discipline. There's that practice aspect of bringing ceremony to whatever activity you're doing. So let's talk a little bit about making a ceremony. And I like this because, my goal as a breathwork facilitator, as a coach, as a spiritual confidant, so to speak, is my objective is really to make every breath we take a ritual of life, a ritual of beauty, a ritual of awakening, a ritual of evolution. And I believe this can be done because I teach breathwork, and breathwork is a process of breathing that does bring about this awakening, this recognition of beauty and joy of life. And I see it easily can translate into every breath we take. We can actually make every breath a transformational experience. Now, currently, what we tend to do is go into a formalized setting, the formalized ritual, formalized ceremony, and breathe there and have an exalted experience, have the awakening. And then we go plug back into life, excuse me, and we go back into our everyday sort of mode. We carry that inspiration with us until it starts to drain, and we go back into ceremony and recharge ourselves. But what if we took the breathing that we did in the ceremonial fashion and then we applied it in every single breath we took, meaning that every breath we take has a sense of discipline. Every breath we take has a sense of reverence. Every breath we take has a sense of celebration. Just think, every time you breathe in, it's a gift. It's a gift of life. We take it so much for granted because it's so common that the next breath we take will be there. But what if all of a sudden all the oxygen was stripped from the room and you couldn't take another breath? You'd really be thankful. You'd really be reverent about that next breath you took, wouldn't you? And so if we could, before it gets to that critical extreme, develop that reverence as we're breathing naturally, that's my goal. And then every moment of our lives exhibits the same quality that a ceremony does. And that, I think, that in essence is what a ceremony is preparing us for, to make our lives ultimately the ceremony. Rachel, it's your birthday today, isn't it? Happy birthday and welcome. What are you saying? It's the only way that helped me not vibrate out of the room. That's the breath work, right? Tom, Buddha placed a lot of emphasis on the breath as a vehicle of awakening. Beautiful. Me and Buddha both. All right. Not saying that I am at the same level as the Buddha, but we share some similar thoughts there. And Rachel, yeah, great. So everybody wish Rachel a happy birthday. Real quick, put some love, put some likes, put some hearts across the screen for Rachel. It's her birthday today, and she decided to join us on Facebook Live. Any suggestions on preparing properly to come to Rythmia? Yeah, when you sign up to come, Rythmia will send you an email which will give you all sorts of preparations. We want to prep, but let's say this in the context of what I'm talking about. Start to develop this reverent attitude towards life. All right, look, there's all for Rachel. What a little meanie face. Who gave her a meanie face? Hearts, hearts, hearts. It's Rachel's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Excellent. Thanks, everyone, for making that special. Rachel was here, what was it? Was that a year ago? You were here like February, March of 2017, right? And geez, time just flies. All right, back to what I was saying. What was I saying? Making life ceremonial. And so how do we do this? How do we create a ceremony? Oh, we're saying how to prepare for Rythmia. And I'd say start to get in that reverential aspect of taking note of life itself and how life is supporting you in your process. And realize that the moment you make the solid determination to come to Rythmia, usually that comes with the booking, right? When you finally call that number above and you say, hey, I'm coming, sign me up, all of a sudden the energies start moving towards your transformation. I mean, literally, people, guest after guest talks about how their process began before they even got here to the physical place of Rythmia. And that's because energy is stimulated by our intention. So that doesn't have to be, the starting point doesn't have to be signing up. If you have a strong intention to get here, you haven't signed up yet, maybe you don't have the funds or whatever, if you make that strong intention, watch how your process starts to move regardless. And watch how also, the funds start to show up here and there. And of course, you've got to be disciplined and diligent in collecting those funds and not squandering them somewhere else so that you can keep on track to getting yourself here. But so start to develop the ceremonial aspect. And that means, well, let's see what that means is, to me, first of all, a ceremony is usually planned in advance. It's not usually a spontaneous event. It's not an absolute, but there usually is some planning, some preparation. So in this case, coming to Rythmia, for instance, you're going to observe a different diet. You're going to start to take out things that, sugars, acids, meats, coffee, processed food, all that kind of stuff. You're going to start eliminating from you so you can get more in the pureness of your being, and start eating more fruits and vegetables, start eating more whole foods, and that's going to help you. What else? Just preparing attitude-wise. Be willing to accept what life has to bring from you. Be willing to go into the dark corners of your consciousness where you've been stuffing or repressing old experiences, and allow yourself to unlock that closet, finally clean it out. So, get in the process of being willing to face whatever comes up, and know that this is again, the container, the ceremonial container, is a safe environment for you to, to face those demons or those dragons that may have been dogging you for many years. The ceremony then, usually you want to prep the environment, prepare the environment in a way that's, again, the whole idea is to make it bigger than life, better than the mundane, or something different ultimately than your mundane, so that there's an element of specialness to it. So that may be flowers, a certain kind of decor. You might have an altar to with which to center the energy around. These kind of things are the environmental preparation. And let's just look at some of these things. I'll answer that. And believe you're going to get your miracle before you go. You're worthy of it. Yeah. So Jason, who's an alumni here, is offering a suggestion that to prepare, one, start thinking in terms of miracle. What do you really want? What kind of miracle do you want in your life? And two, believe that it's going to happen, and believe that if it hasn't happened in your life so far, that Rythmia is the catalyst for making that happen. So great input there. And that's what I love. Why I love you guys to make comments, why I love these Facebook Lives, is that we are sharing as a community. In fact, just gave me the hit that this in and of itself could be a ceremony. And maybe after this talk, I'll treat this a little bit more ceremoniously. This gathering of elevated souls, all of you who are tuning in on some level, are light workers or light warriors, whether that's fully manifested or not. This again is what Rythmia is here for, is to really clear away whatever it is, to let your light shine fully and brightly. All right, looks like I'm getting some approval on that comment. So another aspect of ceremony, wear different clothing. We suggest in our ceremonies here that you wear white clothing, and while that's not, it's not a requirement, why do we ask this? Once again, it's like anything that we can do to get out of our normal everyday consciousness, the consciousness that has gotten us the same results we've been experiencing up till now. We want different results. If you want different results, then you've got to do things differently. You can't approach the problem, or you can't approach life in the same way if you want different results. So putting on clothing that is just reminding you of the reverence, reminding you of the specialness of the occasion, reminding you of something greater than you might not be aware of in your everyday mundane life, is the reason why we request or suggest, let's say better, that you come with some white clothes. And of course, white is traditionally one of those colors of ascension or of expansion. Jessica, I agree. I got my miracle last August, and I strongly feel my journey has only begun. I still feel a strong calling. Beautiful. It's the work of all the people on the live. Good. Right on, Jason. All right, so where are we? Then meditate in advance. So this both goes for creating ceremony and for preparing for Rythmia. Think about, it's a good point. Think about coming to Rythmia as your, Rythmia itself being your larger ceremony. Your whole week's experience here is the bigger container of ceremony, and then within that we have the actual plant ceremonies and breath ceremonies. But being here, so to meditate, to have a practice, in other words, meditation is one of my practices. But whether there's prayer or quiet walking in the woods, a moving meditation of sorts, a contemplation, a repetition of mantras, or singing chants, anything that's going to cultivate or catalyze the spirit within you, something, that essential nature of you, bring that out with meditation or with chanting and such. And then to make something a ceremony, get the most out of the ceremony for sure, is to come as a child. We emphasize this here at Rythmia, but it's really, in the Buddhist tradition, they say the beginner's mind. You may have heard that expression, the beginner's mind, meaning that we come empty of preconceptions, empty of know-it-allness, empty of anything that could get in the way of us fully receiving the essence of what's happening. Rather, instead of receiving and filtering it through our already knowingness, and therefore we only get part of the transmission, and then oftentimes we bend that transmission and shape it to match what we already think we know. So we may even be mutating it and not really receiving the essential message that's there for us. So those are my points on ceremony, basically to recognize the importance of ceremony, the ritual aspect that brings us together, that allows us to recognize the beauty, the joy, the collective evolution that can happen when we treat life a little bit more special than just mundane everydayness. I've given you a few tips on how to prepare for a ceremony or how to create a ceremonial aspect to our lives. And then remember, my goal, and I encourage you to make it your goal too, is to make every breath you take lead towards being a ceremony in your life, leading towards a ritual. The ritual of breathing that enlightens us with every new breath. Every new breath brings us new awareness. Every new breath brings us another opportunity for that much more life. Every new exhale releases anything that's no longer serving us in our lives, so that we can once again fill ourselves with that full effulgence of spirit. So that's it. Let's see if we got any more suggestions here. Jessica says, I agree. I got my miracle in August. All right, I got over that. Belinda, be there May 27th. Beautiful, Belinda. I'll just be getting back. I'm actually leaving for a week starting on Sunday. I'm doing my own breathwork program in San Diego, California, where I'm from. It's a good time to say, if you want to know any more, if you want to keep this conversation alive with me, want to friend me on Facebook. My name is R. Christian Minson, the letter R, Christian Minson. And The one thing I request of you, if you're friending me on Facebook, is to send me a message that says, hey, I saw you on Facebook Live, and that's why I'm friending you. Otherwise, you know, I'm sure, just like many of you, I get a lot of friend requests of people I have no idea who they are, and as much as I'd like to friend everybody, sometimes I don't have time to. So I want to give you priority. If you give me that message, I'll know how we're connected, and I'll continue to keep that connection alive. Bob Walker, looking forward to seeing you and being in ceremony next week. Thank you for these great points. Deborah, thanks. You remind me so much of Gabriel Cousins. Really? Yeah, that's cool. Thanks, Chad. Gabriel Cousins, raw food expert, right? And I never dived super deep into his teachings, but I know a very astute figure in the holistic world. So I take that as a big compliment. Danielle, see you in a week. Beautiful. Like I said, so I was saying I'll be gone for a week. I'll be back May 31st. So any of you who come that week, you'll see me at the tail end of the week. If anybody's coming next week, I apologize. I won't be here, but you will. You'll be well taken care of by everybody else that's here. And let's see. I saw lotus flower opening up. Beautiful, Sherry. Belinda. Whoops, what happened? Belinda, cool. I was just in San Diego. Nice. Thanks so much. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Debbie. Let's see. If there was something I missed here before, somebody had asked a question. Sebastian, hello from Germany. At times I breathe out a short, harsh, and somewhat compulsive breath through the nose. Otherwise, I have a calm and rather shallow breath. What could this mean in an aspect of celebrating breath? That's a good question. I don't know exactly what it could mean in an aspect of celebrating the breath. Short, harsh, somewhat compulsive breath. I mean, you're saying it right there. That's you know, expressing a compulsion that's a little bit harsher, a little bit more raw, and I guess the big question is, does that serve you, or do you find that to be helpful? Do you find that to bring about feelings, either physical feelings or emotional feelings that are harmonious, or do you find that agitates your feelings and such? And so looking at that, if it's an agitation, I'd recommend you know, a regimen to get in a habit of overcoming that, to when that comes on, to consciously bring yourself into a more fluid, gentle breathing pattern. If that, you know, if that brings harmony to you, or it brings some sense of a positive altered consciousness, then I might experiment with that and turn that into a practice. So hopefully that answers that for you, Sebastian. And Dave, no, not coffee. Yeah, well, coffee is one of those things. We do recommend that you don't do it here. It can have, you know, it's a little less important when we're doing the breathwork week, but with the plant medicine week, plant medicine and coffee is an acid, and the plant medicine works best in an alkaline environment. So we suggest that you don't, you know, for best results, that you wean yourself off coffee before you get here. But if that's probably one of the ones that a lot of people cheat on, and one that's less important when it comes right down to it. I guess it's less important on an individual basis, meaning if some people's constitution, it doesn't really matter. You can drink their coffee and you're going to be okay in plant ceremonies. Others, you drink your coffee, it's just going to make your experience a little more agitated. It might cause a little more purging, which a lot of people are concerned about, which ultimately, if you can get over the concern for purging, it doesn't really matter either way. You recognize that purge is a good thing anyway. All right. So there we go. And I'll be there in a week. You return. Great, Amira. Is that, are you the one that, I think Amira was the one that won one of the Shit the Moon Said things. We had somebody here last week who won that too, the promotion to take you into, to give you a free trip if you posted your picture and all that. That promotion's over, but I will use this opportunity to say Jerry Powell's book, Shit the Moon Said, will give you a good understanding of, in a very easy to read book, what's going on here at Rythmia, how it all kind of came about, what a crazy but very enlightening character Jerry is, and you know, what kind of fun you can have, fun in evolutionary sort of way here at Rythmia. All right, Amira, yeah, she's saying, yep, she's the one. Great. Well, we will see you then. I'm looking forward to meeting you. Jason, take care. Bye. And to all of you here, thanks for joining on this Facebook Live. I love doing this. Last thing, I don't think I will be on next week as a result of me being away in San Diego. If I can make it happen, I will, but plan on it not happening, and then just check in if you really want to be here. It will show up on the Rythmia Facebook page as an event. It will, if you get Rythmia's emails, you'll see it say, you know, Christian's doing this talk this week. But if I'm not on next week, I will be on the following week again, back on schedule. So from all of us at Rythmia, including myself especially, we bow to you, namaste, and hope you get here soon so we can embrace you in person. All the best, and get out there and live ceremoniously. Take care.